Durag Wisdom here, folks, and welcome to Y2K 19.01.23. I'm thinking about this Star Trek episode called The Day of the Dove. It was in the third season. It wasn't a great episode. In fact, it was pretty preachy and somewhat stupid in parts. But even stupid Star Treks were intelligently entertaining. In this particular episode, The Day of the Dove had the guest star Michael Ansara, good actor. He was also in a Outer Limits episode where he played the soldier from the future, transferred to the past, based on a Harlan Ellison story, where the Terminator got many of its ideas from. So anyway, I'm watching The Day of the Dove, which is about this instigator alien. This little piece of light that insinuates itself into relationships between people and makes them hurt each other. What happens is this thing takes advantage of the fact that Kirk has taken these Klingons prisoner, and there's a whole fight about this situation, whose folks got murdered, Federation settlers or Klingons. Well, anyways, Kirk transfers these Klingons. They were supposed to be beamed up, and he turns the tables on them, and he takes them prisoner. But Kirk and the Klingons don't realize there's this instigating alien that is planning this whole thing. He's made everybody immortal, so if they get killed and they'll come back, they'll spend the rest of eternity in front of this being, killing each other over and over again just for its entertainment. That's why I call it the instigator. And by the end of the episode, spoiler alert, they of course defeated this being by all becoming friends. I mean, I love the part where Michael Ansara, the Klingon, smacks Kirk on the back as they're laughing at this insidious creature that took over the ship and took over these people and turned them into hateful morons. As dumb as that episode is in parts, it kind of reminds me of what happened to the Democratic and Republican Party. Because let's just say that there's an evil being around, some kind of evil force that just is in the business. It gratifies itself by instigating others to do violence to each other. And it gets more and more powerful the more violence we do to each other. Let's just say something like that exists. So we have a two-party system, a Democratic and Republican. A two-party republic. For many years of our political history, the Democratic Party was on the side of, say, lynching. We had Dixiecrats up until the time of Johnson. And these Dixiecrats left the Democratic Party because of Johnson's support of the civil rights legislation, the civil rights bill. These Dixiecrats and all this racist hatred transferred itself to the burgeoning right-wing Republican Party. What is making these two parties be assholes one minute and decent people the next? It isn't some kind of alien life force. But of course the purpose of artful, thought-provoking speculative fiction is to create allegories, to create stories which teach us about how we are so that we change. Here we had a Democratic Party that was pretty much racist, even though it had again a burgeoning liberal bent. through FDR and the New Deal, Social Security. But the Democratic Party didn't really start being the party of the liberals, whatever it is, until after between the Johnson era and beyond. Then it became the GOP to be the party of the racists. Can you imagine what Lincoln would think about this? But what we have to understand is there's this evil inclination that's at the heart of the human condition that we have to deal with, understand, recognize, and expunge as much as we possibly can. So right now, the evil, the horrific, the totalitarian, the fascist is on the side of the GOP. But on the other side, the Democratic side, it seems to be going through a transition now, which may, in fact, allow it to become even more right-wing or more progressive. In the end, both parties, since we only have two parties, both of them must learn how to work together, respect each other, and work out compromises. Look, I'm not a middle-of-the-roader. I consider myself a liberal. I'm a democratic socialist. But then again, a lot of times it depends on certain issues. And I've decided to not even pay attention to what any people tell me who believe that, say, because I'm pro-Zionist, that I'm suddenly not a liberal anymore. I have to live with myself and what I think. But what I say now is that we have to fight. We have to fight that instigating evil piece of trash that exists in all of us. We have to recognize it, that sociopathic creep in each of us, and realize that it's undermining everything we want to do good. Because look, folks, we live on a planet in the loneliness of the Milky Way galaxy, which is one of billions of galaxies throughout the known universe and beyond. We don't know if there's any other intelligent life, and even if we knew there was, I don't know if they'd want to live with us, considering that we still want to be naked apes. And we have to assume that we're totally alone, and that this beautiful planet that we have luckily been born into, if we learned to actually learn the lessons from, say, movies like It's a Wonderful Life, and plays and films like You Can't Take It With You, that teach you that being a good neighbor, a good friend, is the best way to create international peace and harmony. Imagine if you have a history of goodness, kindness between people, between neighbors. Even if you don't like the person, you know, hey, they're not out to screw me. We have to recognize that instigating evil force that wants to keep us apart. Fight it. Redeem the GOP from its racist, Trumpist crap. Turn it back into being the party of Lincoln. Redeem the Democratic Party from corporatist, phony crap. Redeem these parties from their basest natures, so that if they're aboard the Enterprise, they're not killing each other, they're not destroying one another, they're not using swords to cut each other into ribbons. Work together. There are compromises to be made that won't make anyone look bad. We have a sociopath, a Russian operative inside our White House, which makes this process even more difficult. But that is because one side, our GOP, allowed it, the evil instigator to manipulate it to bringing up the worst parts of our nature. Each of us don't have a lot of time. Life is short. We're like a tiny little fetid drop in the cosmos of time. We're not going anywhere after we're gone, and we have to make what we live here on this planet the paradise it's supposed to be. And we have to stop the evil instigators from turning the only two parties we have into enemies, which in the end force all of us to suffer even more. Want a day of the dove? It's up to us to transcend our naked apenness so that we can embrace the stars.